Welcome back, everybody. I am Benningfield. If you're new to the channel, please subscribe, and if you enjoy this video, press that like button. And also follow me on Twitter. It's Benningfield01. I always post whenever I start up a live stream or a new video drops. Today, these two planes behind me is the P-45 Nokota that just dropped yesterday. It's the blue one, and the other one back there, the black and cream color one. That is the Rouge. I'm going to be comparing these two. It came out with at the beginning of Smuggler's Run. I feel they're real similar. We're going to do a comparison on all the different things. First, you go into your, bring up your internet and go into Warstock, Cache and Carry. And we'll go down to the P-45 Nokota that just came out. The discount price, if you do the missions, is $1,995,000. And if you go down to the Rouge, the price is $1.2 million if you've done the missions to get the discount price. It's almost $2 million without it for the buy it now price, and the Nokota is like 2.6. And you can see there it's got one seater for the P-45, and the Rouge holds two people. So there's just a couple differences right off the bat. First off, the Rouge's a lot cheaper, and it holds, but it only holds one. It holds two people, and the Nokota is quite a bit more expensive, and it only holds one person. And we're gonna take off, check out some of the stuff. It has the same countermeasures as all of them. You can add drop tanks, but that's just cosmetic. Really doesn't do anything on this one. They both have some pretty good liveries. The important part, the weapons, primary weapons, all it has is homing missiles for the Nokota. So that's kind of downside. Like every other plane pretty much that came out with DLC, there's no explosive rounds. But as you'll see once we get over here to the Rouge, this is the only plane that came out with the Smuggler's Run update that has the explosive rounds. So that's another big advantage for the Rouge. So you go in there, it's got armor. It's got the same countermeasures to choose from, as we can see right here. And they both have some really good liveries, and the handling options, all that's the same. But the weapons, you got three different sections for weapons: bombs, primary, and secondary weapons. So you can add the bombs, and you choose what kind of bombs you want to have on it. That's the ones that drop from the bottom. So you can, it's got the explosive cannons, or you can upgrade the machine guns. That's the biggest deal, I think. And for your secondary, it also has the homing missile option. So it's got a lot more weapon choices for the Rouge too. So you got cheaper price, it's a two-seater, and has more options for weapon upgrades. And we'll take it out now. I'm going to fly, and we're going to showcase some of the weapons. Plus it has a wider stance on this. You'll see whenever we break out the Nokota, the landing gear's a little closer together, so it tends to tip. But the Rouge is a little slower taking off, as you can see. It took me a good little ways on the runway to get airborne. And the handling on them is really kind of similar. We'll show off the missiles. I'm just holding down the fire button, so you can see it fires off two, and then waits a second, and fires off two. Excuse me. So they are kind of slow for the homing rockets or whatever the missiles. Even if you don't have them on homing, they shoot the same speed. But as you can see here, I'm going to swoop down. It does have the explosive rounds. So that is a great option. That is the only Smuggler's Run plane that was added that has those. And there you go. There's the drop bombs, which this has, and again the Nokota does not. And you'll see whenever I'm trying to come in for a landing, I'm hitting the brakes as soon as it touches down the ground. I still got pretty good speed going into the hangar, so it slows down and lands a lot slower than the Nokota does. So it has quite a few options that the Nokota doesn't, but the benefit of the Nokota over the Rouge is that it does take off quicker, and the braking's a lot better on it. And then we'll get into here, and I'll show you the missiles in action on the here's the P-45 Nokota. Like I said, they both have some really good liveries. I love the livery options of both of them. Yeah, we'll get in here, we'll take off, and you'll see here as I'm pulling out, I'll turn it a little bit, and then we'll take off, and you'll see it takes off quite a bit better, a lot quicker. See, there it got a little sideways. That's because the landing gear is narrow. But yeah, it took off a whole lot faster than the Rouge did. So it does have quicker takeoff. Here's your rockets. Now, if you hold down the button, that's all I did was hold down the fire button. It's 3 from one side, 3 from the other. So it goes left 3 times, right 3 times. And the fire rate is a lot faster. So it does have the advantage of the homing rockets and missiles do shoot faster. Then we'll switch to machine guns. You can see here, they're not explosive rounds. We had no option for explosives. So the machine guns aren't really the greatest. So overall, as far as weapons go, I think your Rouge is way better, really. The explosive rounds make a huge difference. Yeah, the homing missiles shoot a little bit slower, but I don't feel like that justifies the price difference, which again, the Rogue is a lot cheaper, 1.2 versus, what is it, 1.6, or, yeah, so you got, or no, 2 million, sorry, it's 1.9 versus 1.2 million, so that's a huge difference on price. And you'll see here when I'm coming in, whenever I go to land and I hit the ground, I started hitting the brakes, it stopped pretty quick. So that is the benefit of the Nokota. It does take off faster and land faster. But again, I do want to state though, I do like both these planes. I love the style of the planes. So I do enjoy having both of them. But so far, price-wise, it holds 2 people. And the Rogue's just better overall on that. It's got the better weapons, the better price. Holds an extra person in case you want a friend riding around with you. And now I'm going to do like the time on the speed. Right here we have the P-45 Nokota. And what I did a stopwatch. I started it right as I crossed Mount Chiliad. And I stopped it as soon as I got to the observatory. Because I didn't have a race made. And I didn't want to build a race for these. So I just did it. So it's kind of a generic way to do it. But it does give me a pretty good idea on the times. Of course, it's not going to be perfect, and I'm not the best pilot in the world. As you can see, it's a little wobbly, but it will give you a good idea. But I started the stopwatch as soon as we crossed over Mount Chiliad, and we're coming up to the observatory now. It's a little round top building, in case you don't know, right as you're coming into the city. And on the Nokota, it took me pretty much exactly 50 seconds. It took me 50.01 seconds to make that trip from the Mount Chiliad all the way to the observatory. And yeah, right here's where I'm going to stop right there. I passed the observatory, so I stopped it then. If you want to time it yourself or whatever. And now we're in the Rogue, and it is. I'm going to do the same thing. I started the stopwatch as we crossed over Mount Chiliad. As soon as we get over the observatory, I'm going to go ahead and stop the stopwatch, and it did a time of 45.57 seconds. So the Rogue is faster. The Rogue got the time again, 45.57 seconds versus the Nokota, which was 50.01 seconds. So it's faster too. So again, I like both these planes, but a quick summary: if you're only going to buy one of these, I highly suggest the Rogue, because you're going to get a lot more plane for your money. First off, it's a lot cheaper plane. You're talking 1.2 versus pretty much 2 million, 1,995,000 for the Nokota. So it's a lot cheaper on you. You do have a few more upgrades, so it balances that price out a little bit. I get it, because your weapon upgrades are kind of expensive on the Rogue. But that's another thing. It has way more weapon upgrades. You can drop the bombs on it. It has explosive rounds, and it has the homing rockets. And again, the defensive is the same on them. And the Nokota only has just the upgrade for the missiles, so you do have the homing missiles. They do fire a little bit faster. And then the Nokota does land and take off faster, but once they're in the air, the Rogue is the faster plane. It's just all around better plane. And I do hope this helps everybody. Again, I suggest, if you're only buying one, buy the Rogue. And that not only goes against the Nokota, really. As far as the Smuggler Runs update go, I think it's the best plane for the money. So I would have to ask you to steer away from the Nokota if you're tight on money. It's really not worth it. You're better off just to buy the Rogue if you're going to buy just one. I appreciate everybody coming out. I am Benningfield, and if you're new to the channel, please subscribe. If you enjoyed this video, press that like button. And follow me on Twitter at Benningfield01. I always post when a new live stream starts or a new video drops.